There are many scenarios where you want a class to only have one instance. For example, player stats in a mobile game for the current user. Interacting with a single hardware device, like sending audio through a speaker. An object to access a remote data source, such as a Firebase database. Authentication, where only one user should be logged in at a time. In the above scenarios, you'd probably need to use a class. However, you'll only ever need to instantiate one instance of that class. If there's only one hardware device, or only one user logged in at once, there would be no reason to create more than a single instance. Having two objects that access the same hardware device simultaneously could lead to some really strange and buggy behavior. You can clearly communicate in your code that an object should have only one instance by defining it as a singleton. A singleton is a class that can only have a single instance. Kotlin provides a special construct, called an object, that can be used to make a singleton class. Define a singleton object. The syntax for an object is similar to that of a class. Simply use the object keyword instead of the class keyword. A singleton object can't have a constructor, as you can't create instances directly. Instead, all the properties are defined within the curly braces and are given an initial value. Some of the examples given earlier might not seem obvious, especially if you haven't worked with specific hardware devices or dealt with authentication yet in your apps. However, you'll see singleton objects come up as you continue learning Android development. Let's see it in action with a simple example using an object for user state, in which only one instance is needed. For a quiz, it would be great to have a way to keep track of the total number of questions and the number of questions the student answered so far. You'll only need one instance of this class to exist, so instead of declaring it as a class, declare it as a singleton object. Create an object named studentProgress. For this example, we'll assume there are 10 total questions and that 3 of them are answered so far. Add 2 int properties, total with a value of 10 and answered with a value of 3. Access a singleton object. Remember how you cannot create an instance of a singleton object directly? How then are you able to access its properties? Because there's only one instance of studentProgress in existence at one time, you access its properties by referring to the name of the object itself, followed by the dot operator, followed by the property name. Update your main function to access the properties of the singleton object. In main, add a call to println that outputs the answered and total questions from the studentProgress object. Declare objects as companion objects. Classes and objects in Kotlin can be defined inside other types and can be a great way to organize your code. You can define a singleton object inside another class using a companion object. A companion object allows you to access its properties and methods from inside the class if the object's properties and methods belong to that class, allowing for more concise syntax. To declare a companion object, simply add the companion keyword before the object keyword. You'll create a new class called quiz to store the quiz questions and make studentProgress a companion object of the quiz class. Below the difficulty enum, define a new class named quiz. Move question 1, question 2, and question 3 from main into the quiz class. You also need to remove println question 1 to string, if you haven't already. Move the studentProgress object into the quiz class. Mark the studentProgress object with the companion keyword. Update the call to println to reference the properties with quiz.answered and quizzed total. Even though these properties are declared in the studentProgress object, they can be accessed with notation using only the name of the quiz class. Run your code to verify the output.